name is Josh Blakesley. I'm a singer, songwriter, and producer, music director, husband and dad, and lots of hats.
Oh, how wonderful is your offer.
I grew up in a small town, Alexandria, Louisiana, with a family, a mom who's a devout Catholic and always brought us to church, and she was very insistent on that, and it was kind of the non-negotiable for our family. But I wouldn't say that my faith was there. It was just kind of something that I knew that we had to do. And it wasn't until I was probably 15, 16 years old that I kind of started to take my faith on myself and just start to say, okay, this is real. What God is doing in our lives is important.
Hope for the lost, salvation for the sinner.
But then when I decided, like, this is something that the Lord has gifted me with, and so how can I return that?
You are the light. You are the light.
I kind of made a shift at that point and started playing for Mass a little bit and just kind of getting involved in the liturgy and how those things kind of move together.
He's in the valley of your pain. He's in the shadow of broken things.
There's been a faith part of my music, and there's been a music part of my faith as well. And those things are still kind of ingrained even in my prayer life. I pray through music a lot.
He's in the urge you cannot hide. He's in the fear you cannot fight. Even in this, even in this, even in this, even in
Music's always been a big part of who I am. I think from early on, just from first grade, really. I grew up listening to my dad's music, and I have two older sisters, so I listened to their music a lot. So a lot of Creedence Clearwater Revival and a lot of Elvis Presley. There was no formal introduction for me. I didn't go and take piano lessons and learn theory, and that was not my introduction to music. It was really through a side entry. As I grew up kind of learning drums and learning to sing at the same time, I was enamored with Don Henley and with Phil Collins and some of those drummers who were singing from behind the drum kit and would bring a microphone over and around in front of them. And I was like, how are they doing? There was no YouTube, there was no internet, so I was finding magazines and books and trying to figure out how are they doing what they're doing. And so that was kind of my introduction to music.
I trust in you in the long dark night when the shadows come and conceal the light.
The writing process for me, a lot of times it's an idea or a theme or a phrase, something like that. And that turns into something like, for example, Jesus, I trust in you is a prayer that we know from St. Faustina.
Jesus, I trust. Jesus, I trust in you.
I really wanted to connect that with divine mercy, and I wanted to bridge that gap. So how do those two things kind of connect? The mercy of God, but also trusting in Jesus. And so we did a lot of reading and tried to dive into the idea of, how do those things connect? When we say in the Divine Mercy prayer, Jesus, I trust in you, what spiritually is happening that there's a connect there? So we tried to answer that question, and that's kind of what led to the song.
Your mercy comes in a million ways, flowing through your heart to this world you've made. In your life outpoured
all the while, I never connected this, but I was going to Mass every Sunday, but it was a separate thing. Music was a separate thing. Mass was something that happened on Sundays, leave God there, and then here's the rest of my life. I was about 15 years old, maybe 16. And I met a girl in Spanish class. It's always a girl, right? It's always and she invited me to a prayer meeting. It was a strange experience for me. I had not experienced anything like that. It was teens, all people my age. They were actually worshiping the Lord. I didn't know what that meant or what that was about. I just knew what happened on Sundays and that we go and that, Mom would be not happy with us if we didn't sing hymns. And, that was my experience of faith. And so here was a different experience of faith where it was more modern and there were people my age who were engaged in what was happening. There was music, there was talks, there were skits. It was interesting to me in the sense that I had not seen it before, but I'm not sure that it was something I was like, yeah, I got to do this every week. But Jenny kept asking me to be a part of it. And I was like, okay, yeah. And I kept doing it. Several months into that relationship with Jenny, she was killed in a drunk driving accident. And so that loss was huge for our whole community. But in my life, it was the particular entrance into the realization that life is finite and that there must be purpose and there must be a reason that we are living. And so the journey for me began right there of what is the reason for me? What's the purpose of what I'm doing right now? Like, why is God putting me on the planet and what's my role while I'm here? And so it was a big light bulb moment at 15, 16 years old. Then all of a sudden, faith and music smashed together pretty immediately. I mean, within a few weeks after Jenny's funeral, that I wanted to start playing music, writing music, singing music for God, and diving into more specifically why we're here on the planet. If these gifts are from God, if what we're doing is from God, then what I'm doing must have a purpose. And so I wanted to give back to Him.
Oh, how beautiful is your love for me.
Music is a beautiful opportunity for unity. And here we are in this huge division of it has to be one way or the other. Really, the honest answer for that is it's the unity of all of that. It's the coming together of the beautiful and rich history of our faith, but also the new and what God is doing new every single day. But regardless of all those things, regardless of the rules and what the rubrics say, and of course those things are important, love is above all things.
Oh, how wonderful is your offering. Lamb laid down for me on compassion's tree. How could I turn away from the mercy of your face? Oh, how wonderful is your love.
For me, there's a lot of mechanics to the songwriting process. The chorus usually comes to me first. I get this inspiration of that phrase and then try to turn that into something poppy or ballady or something that is hooky that someone will catch on to easily. Yeah. And then, the verses are always a little bit more of a challenge for me, trying to find something that is moving and nuanced and that hasn't been heard 1,000 times.
Jesus,
there was a realization that when we were playing the song live, instantly people would join in the songs. We use it a lot in adoration settings, we use it a lot in Mass, but I also use it a lot just when we're doing a concert because it's a call to prayer kind of pretty immediately. A very simple chorus, Jesus, Jesus, oh, how beautiful is your love. There's something about that simple repeating of the name of Jesus and that prayer that his love is good and beautiful and it's good for us. People they just sing it. It's like they know it already, and it's an awesome and overwhelming feeling, I think, to be leading an assembly or a group of people or a concert or whatever into worship, and they're singing along. To me, that's how I say, okay, we're praying. We're praying now. We're
So miraculous is your love.
a lot of times, and in those moments especially, I'm able to close my eyes and go, okay, the Lord is moving right now. I don't have to work. The Lord is moving right now. And that's one of those moments, beautiful is your love. I'm in a parish, St. Faustina in Fulshire, Texas. And I'm excited to be a part of the music program and directing music there and to try to bring life to the parish through music. Bringing the beauty of music to the liturgy every Sunday is a huge part of, it's what the church asks of us, of course. It's personal to me as well, because I long for the people in the pews to have the kind of worship experience that I know in my mind we can have as a community. And the reality that we're worshiping the source and summit of our faith present right there with us, it's inspiration to music director to really elevate the music and the quality of the music, the consistency of that quality, so that everything that we're doing in the music department brings beauty to the liturgy. Some of the songs that we do quite a bit when we're when we do events live, I think of songs like "You Are the Light," which it just makes it in the set list nearly every time. I actually love the story of the song because I wrote it at a retreat center, one of Life Teen's retreat center. I was sitting on the steps and looking out at the mountain that kind of comes up and the sun's coming up over it, and just that phrase, "You are the light." It was inspired in that moment.
In the cover of the night, glorious star. In the shadows you are shining, hope for the lost, salvation for the sinner. You conquered the cross. Oh, with the brightness of your rising, you are the light.
It's a difficult thing, I think, as a Catholic musician, because sometimes I get the sense that people feel like, well, you're a Catholic musician, you better write songs for Mass. And I don't always feel that's not where I'm at all the time. I'm there a lot, but sometimes I just want to write what's on my heart. And sometimes that's a country song, like so, and that's okay. That's who we are. That's the humanness and the messiness of life. And it's not just all, one direction. So yeah, it's a messy process, but a beautiful one. I'm thinking of the song Even in This. The song was very personal for several reasons. At the church community that I was in at the time, we had just lost a teen. That made me dive into my own personal story and the loss of a friend when I was a teen. Going through that again and seeing that family and the pain and the tragedy and the devastation of the community, and it inspired me to write. And I wanted to dive into that pain and into that hurt a little bit and get beneath it.
Standing where the light won't seem to go. The longest night is rising on your soul. It feels just like the sky is made of stone, but you are not alone. You are not alone. He's in the valley of your pain. He's in the shattered, broken things. Even in this, even in this. He's in the hurt you cannot hide. He's in the fear you cannot fight. Even in this, even in this.
God is there. God is in those moments with us. He walks in those moments with us, and that's what the song is about. In our darkest nights, in our most difficult times, even when we don't see God, even when we don't feel the Lord, He's there, and He's working on us, and He's moving with us.
As the word forsaken settled in your bones, that you are not alone. You are not alone, no. He's in the valley of your pain. He's in the shattered, broken things. Even in this, even in this. He's in the hurt you cannot hide. He's in the fear you cannot fight. Even in this, even in this. Nothing is beyond His reach. He sees it all, every wound and every need. He bore it all. There's nothing He cannot redeem. Even in this, even in this.
Mass can happen without music. What we do doesn't bring Jesus any greater into the room, all right? That's happening regardless.
At the rising of the sun.
If we can elevate the worship of the faithful by bringing some beauty to that, or extra beauty to it through the music, then I think we're accomplishing something. And I think sometimes, all too often in the church, we supply music for the church or for the liturgy, and we're not necessarily adding beauty all the time. And that's kind of a harsh reality, I think, that happens in a lot of parishes around the world. One of my life goals, I think, is to try to bridge that gap and bring quality music into the liturgy and have the church be a leader in the arts again in the way that it has been in history.
You are for me, you are with me, I am grateful.
Are you searching for fulfillment? Discover true happiness. Stay tuned to Shalom World.